Thanks for clicking in. Well, since the Nitirat group dropped a bombshell, more or less with their anti-coup proposal, they have provoked heated debate. Some critics say Nitirat must also present concrete ways to tackle corruption. Otherwise, the group's proposal, which calls for striking down all legal verdicts and moves following the 2006 coup, will certainly not be balanced and will be seen as favoring a particular political group. Other critics even question Nitirat's intentions, saying flat out that the group has a hidden agenda. Why is Nitirat calling for the legal nullification of only the 2006 coup and not any of the earlier ones? Well, with the country being churned in a political hotpot, former Prime Minister Anand Panjarachun and prominent legal expert Kanit Nanakon publicly suggest that Thais get out of the vicious circle of using a coup to fight against a corrupt government. And it's not merely a fight against corruption. Anand and Kanit say we must also fight attempts to consolidate power by bringing the government, court, and legislature under the dangerous control of one man or group. The Nation and Thai Post front pages have highlighted both Anand's and Kanit's thought-provoking comments. Thai Post yells, Thais provoked to fight against absolute control. Anand suggests the Council of State be dissolved. Anand and Kanit made comments at the same forum yesterday, and both agreed that there has been an abuse of power because legislative, judicial, and executive branches are not kept distinct from one another, while checks and balances are not effective in holding authorities accountable. Anand even cited Adolf Hitler as an example of how one man can exploit democracy to gain absolute control. A brave Kanit minced no words in citing Thaksin's share concealment case as a clear testament of Thaksin's regime interfering with the judiciary. Thai Post quoted Kanit as saying that actually the judges ruled 7-6 that Thaksin was guilty, but two votes from judges who ruled against trying Thaksin's case in the Constitution Court were added to the votes of the minority judges. All said and done, the sad thing is that we can expect Anand's and Kanit's advice to go in vain. Meanwhile, Matichon more than any other newspaper gives the hacker report the most important treatment. PM Yingluck's Twitter account was hacked yesterday, with the hacker posting 8 messages in 23 minutes. As you can expect, the messages were negative, hard-hitting, and cynical in nature, with one, for instance, saying, how can you protect the country when you cannot protect yourself? Well, hacker, who was already identified, seemed proud. But Thai Post An Aulung column said the hacking is nothing to be proud of because it's a dirty tactic. If you want to criticize the government, use legal ways and criticize the government fairly. Well, the columnist has a point. It's not fair, or rather not logical, to accuse the government of incompetence through a hacking attempt. The writer went on to draw similarities, saying that if Thais had been patient and allowed the Thaksin regime to continue its reign, it would finally have been kicked out of power because of its own blunders, failures, and massive corruption. Calling for a coup was a wrong tactic, and equally wrong was closing our airports. But how long can Thai be patient? Bangkok Post main story highlights its exclusive interview with Deputy PM and Commerce Minister Hitirat Naranong, who defends the government's populist policies, especially the wage increase and rice pledging scheme, which will kick off this week. The headline is entitled Building a New Society. Well, it does reflect hope and optimism, although critics point out loopholes in the rice pledging scheme, saying the project would lead to irregularities and a waste of taxpayer money. Gitirat, however, urged Thais to have trust in the government, saying it has good intention to bridge the gap between rich and poor. But Matichon runs a full-page article with the headline shouting, Bank of Thailand adjusts inflation rates. Bad signs, Europe's debts worse than expected. Government warned not to be obsessed with implementing populist policies. The paper urges the Yingluck government to review the village fund and the rice pledging scheme that cost over 400 billion baht. The paper says, with the fear that a double dip recession is around the corner, the government may not have enough money to stimulate the economy, and if this is the case, the government will create a mountain of debt following in the footsteps of Europe and America. Let's hope Yingluck's government is listening.